Hello students, welcome to class. Today I'm going to cover a poem called The Tale of Custard the Dragon. Now this is a poem written by Ogden Nash. Ogden Nash is very popular about writing nonsense poetry. Now this poem is a ballad, and ballad is a poem with short stanzas describing about a hero or some brave activity or deed. But then this is a rather humorous one, and it's about a dragon and about a girl who owns some pets, including this pet dragon called Custard. She had a kitten called named as Ink, and because the kitten was black, that is why it was named as Ink. Gray mouse named Blink, and yellow dog called Mustard, and a pet dragon Custard. And title of the poem, The Tale of Custard the Dragon. So let's start the poem. Now poet, to give you a brief idea, the entire members of Belinda's, all the animals, they were quite brave according to them. And it was Custard who was a coward. He used to live inside a cage to be safe from any dangers. So they used to mock and bully and laugh at him. Now this is a poem. Let's read on with the poem. Stanza 1. Belinda lived in a little white house with a little black kitten and a little grey mouse and a little yellow dog and a little red wagon and a really or truly or little pet dragon. Now, wagon we know is a vehicle for transporting goods or another specified purpose. So we know what's a wagon. Now, really or truly, these two words is again a poet has made up these words on his own, and we all know that all poets have the poetic license to use words on their own. Then we have an oxymoron here called pet dragon. Oxymoron is basically two contradictory words together used as a phrase, and we know that a dragon is a dangerous animal. It cannot be a pet at all. So pet is something that is lovable and can be accommodated in the house, unlike a dragon. That is why it is an oxymoron. So find out more about oxymorons. So the first stanza talks about introductory about Belinda, where she lived in a little white house, and the members of the white house included all her 4 animals, pet animals, a black kitten, a grey mouse, a yellow dog, and Custard the dragon. So that's the first stanza. Let's go to the second stanza. Now, the name of the little black kitten was Ink, and the grey mouse, she called him Blink, and the little yellow dog was Sharp as Mustard. But the dragon was a coward, and she called him Custard. Now, you might be thinking that what is Sharp as Mustard, or why she called the dragon as Custard. Custard is a dessert, and it is a very soft and sweet dessert. Why would she call? Maybe you might be able to link it in your own way, assume it or analyze it. Maybe because a mustard, the color, yellow color, it looks very clear and sharp. Maybe the dog was very intelligent to describe that. But there is really, if you look at, there is no connections, are not very, logical at all. But that doesn't matter. So yellow colored flower, mustard is a yellow colored flower, and coward means we all know one person who is very scared and is not brave at all, and so was Custard according to them. So Ink, Blink, again is a kind of a rhyme scheme, If you look at the rhyme scheme of the poem, it's AABB rhyme scheme throughout all the stanzas. Let's look at the third stanza. Custard the dragon had big sharp teeth and spikes on top of him and scales underneath, mouth like a fireplace, chimney for a nose, and really or truly daggers on his toes. So third stanza describes Custard as a very dangerous, looking appearance, like all dragons, with sharp teeth, sharp claws, and a fireplace of a mouth, and a chimney kind of a nose. We know that dragons emit fire through its mouth. Then let's look at the next stanza, fourth stanza. Belinda was as brave as a barrel full of bears, and Ink and Blink chased lions down the stairs. Mustard was as brave as a tiger in a rage, but Custard cried for a nice safe cage. So the first stanza is again describing Belinda. Being simile is used that she was as brave as a barrel full of bears. So she was so brave, and braver than, not one bear but a barrel full of bears. Barrel is a container where you store wine. So it's just an imaginary picture given by the poet, and cannot be truly possible. Ink and Blink chased lions down the stairs. Ink is a cat and Blink is a mouse. How can they do that? Chase down lions? And it is again an exaggeration, being used by the poet. So what the poet is trying to use, not only simile, but he's also trying to use assonance. The vowel sound A is been repeated. You can see Belinda was as brave as a barrel full of bears. Brave, barrel, bear. So the sound is been repeated in these lines. So similarly, you can see that Belinda's description of been described here, and even the poet uses alliteration here. The barrel full of bears is alliteration. So find out the literary devices here. You can understand that this stanza is talking about again Custard as a coward. So next stanza 5. Belinda tickled him, she tickled him more unmerciful. Ink, Blink, and Mustard, they rudely called him Percival. They all sat laughing in the little red wagon at the really truly cowardly dragon. So Belinda kept tickling him. Tickling sensation makes anyone uneasy, and laughter emits, and it's sometimes uncontrollable. And Custard was so tired, exhausted, that it asked Belinda to stop. And others kept laughing and even mocked at him. They all sat laughing in the little red wagon. And at that really or truly repetition has been done. These are two words created by the poet. Now the sixth stanza. Belinda giggled till she shook the house, and Blink said, Vic, which is giggling for a mouse. Ink and Mustard rudely tackled his rudely asked his age, when Custard cried for a nice safe cage. So Belinda was giggled till she started shaking. The house started shaking, which is quite cannot be possible. It's again exaggeration. And Blink said Vic, which is giggling for a mouse. Ink and Mustard rudely asked his age. So it's not good enough to ask somebody their age. So it was rude enough. So that is what the poet is trying to say here. Weak here is a sound made by the mouse. The mouse, typical sound made by the mouse. Stanza 7. Suddenly they heard a nasty sound, and Mustard growled, and they all looked around. Meouch, cried Ink, and ooh, cried Belinda, for there was a pirate climbing in the window. Window means window. And suddenly they heard a very nasty sound, and Mustard growled like any dog. Meow, cried the little cat. And also, ooh, cried Belinda. Everyone made their different sounds. And a pirate came climbing out, of a window. Winda, that is the word created by Ogden Nash. Stanza 8. Pistol in his left hand, pistol in his right, and he held in his teeth a cut glass. Right, bright. His beard was black, one leg was wood. It was clear that a pirate meant no good. So there's a pirate description here. He had a pistol in his left hand, pistol in his right, and he held his teeth a cut glass. He used in his hand he used a cut glass, to cut. Maybe he used that instrument to cut the glass. Cut glass bright. His beard was black. One leg was wood. Pirates, we all know, one of the legs not there, and it's made of wood. It's a general, very typical picture of a pirate, but it's not always so. It was clear that a pirate meant no good, and a pirate looked very, very dangerous, and it did not look good. And cut glass, I already told you, it is a kind of knife or a sword to carve the with a curved blade. Blade is kind of a curve. The blade is curved. Then the next stanza 9. Belinda paled, and she cried, "Help, help!" But Mustard fled with a terrified yelp. Ink trickled down to the bottom of the household, and little Mouse blinked strategically mousehold. So all in stanza 9, when the dangerous-looking pirate appeared out of nowhere, Belinda cried for help, help. She became pale, and Mustard fled with a terrified yelp. Yelp is a sound of when a dog is scared or hurt. Yelping sound it makes, not growling. Ink trickled down to the bottom of the household. Ink went down to the bottom of the household, and the little mouse blinked strategically mousehole, and the blink went inside a mousehole to be safe. Stanza 10. But up jumped Custard, snorting like an engine, clasped his tail like irons in a dungeon. With a clatter and a clank and a jangling squirm, he went at the pirate like a robin at worm. So robin is the name of a bird, and robins, they catch worm, they for food. So like a robin bird, it jumped on the pirate with a clatter and a clank and a jangling scream, with all the sounds of the instrument carried by the pirates, and how Custard jumped on him with his tail like irons in a dungeon. So it came like like a powerful hero. And jangling, screaming sound of hard objects falling on each other, the sound clanking sound that it makes, clank and clatter. That is again alliteration if it's there. So now Custard, really did a great job. Stanza number 11. The pirate gaped at Belinda's dragon and gulped some grog from his pocket flagon. He fired 2 bullets, but they didn't hit, and Custard gobbled him every bit. But the pirate also tried to protect him by firing at Custard. The pirate tried to protect himself by firing at Custard, but it did not hit him, and Custard gobbled him, ate him like a drink. Grog means like a drink. He ate him up, drank him up, swallowed him. Swallowed hurriedly. That is what's the meaning of gobbled. Belinda embraced him. Mustard licked him. No one mourned for his pirate victim. Ink and Blink in glee did gyrate around the dragon that ate the pirate. So when the pirate was dead, Belinda, she was very happy and hugged the dragon Custard, and Mustard also came down to lick him. Everybody was very happy that Custard did a great job. So here the poet, all the members were happy. So the poet is trying to say that all the characters were happy, and they're showing their really, thankful to the dragon that it saved them. But presently up spoke little dog Mustard. I would have been twice as brave if I hadn't been flustered. And up spoke Ink and up spoke Blink, and we have been there 3 times as brave as we think. And Custard said, I quite agree that everybody is braver than me. Custard was very modest, very kind. Everybody suddenly forgot, and everybody started telling that I would have been braver than him and so on. But Custard been very humble and said that, okay, I think everyone is braver than me. Belinda still lives in a little white house with a little black kitten and a little grey mouse and a little yellow dog and a little red wagon and her really truly little pet dragon. Belinda is as brave as a barrel full of bears, and Ink and Blink chase lions down the stairs. Mustard is as brave as a tiger in a rage, but Custard keeps crying for a nice, safe cage. Then the last stanza is again giving you an indirectly sarcasm that, some people are never grateful. Even if you know that this person is very brave, we don't realize our inherent qualities. Sometimes we are very good in some of the areas, but we don't realize it. And that's what happened to Custard the dragon. He did not realize that he is so brave, and he is made to think by the others from their point of view. And some people brag and talk about themselves in such a way that they know and they're too brave and they can do anything. But reality is far from that, and that is the irony in the story of this story poem. So read on with the poem. Thank you and goodbye.